finally leaving Bonaire. I wasn't going to show this part at first, but then again, I had to think about it, and it's kind of important. I'm leaving Navegantes Airport. That's a nearby airport because Bonaire, as I said previously, do not have an airport. And what I wanted to say is airlines often sell their first flight of the morning cheaper than those later in the day, simply because most people don't want to wake up early and catch a flight. They'd rather sleep. Therefore, if you're able to wake up early, you can just sleep very good on the plane, and at the same time, you save money. So for those who fly internationally, and when you're taking other flights domestically in that country, I would suggest look for early flights. Now, as you see right here, I'm finally in Espirito Santo, the return. I have visited here many years, many blue moons ago, and now I have returned to Espirito Santo. And what city I'm going to in this state is Vila Velha. To be exact, I think the last time I was in Vila Velha was back in 2017 around the Christmas holiday season, and this was probably like November or December back in 2017, and I had a good time. It's not as big as cities like Rio or Salvador Bahia. It's much smaller, but you still have things to do in the city. And later throughout this video, I'll give my personal opinions in detail of why you should visit Vila Velha if you so happen to have more than a week vacation time when you come to Brazil. That feeling you get once you arrived at your final destination and now it's time to pick up your belongings slash luggage, and you're just thinking to yourself, I hope my luggage arrived the same time as I did. Because sometimes you arrive and your luggage doesn't arrive at the same time, and that can just throw off your whole day. It can just throw off all your plans, because you probably had planned to, if you got a Airbnb or if you got an apartment like myself, and you schedule a time to meet the owner or whoever it is to pick up the keys. It was a time that you and that person had scheduled. So if your belongings, your luggage gets lost, it throws your whole day off and it can cause problems. And I've been thinking about for the longest to get, I think it's called the Apple AirTag or Apple Tag or something like that, and you can use it for your luggage. And it's like $25 for one or $25 for a pack of them. I don't know, either or, it's cheap. And I thought about getting that to locate my luggage if my luggage ever got lost. But I don't know, it's just a thought. If you use Apple AirTags before or whatever, or you know somebody had experience with them, leave a comment in the comment section below. But my luggage arrived on time, so everything else would go extra smooth. I should pack light, bring less, but when I travel, it's like impossible for me to pack lightly. I always bring extra things just in case. I can't predict the weather of some of the places I'm going to, so I bring extra things just in case for that particular purpose. It might be raining that day, or I might be going out that night and I just want to have some options. So that's why it's very difficult for me to be like a backpacker, just bring a book bag and everything is just in that book bag. That's like totally impossible for me. So until then, I'll be this traveler with all this luggage. When traveling to Brazil, if you have visited one or more cities in the country of Brazil, what airport or what city has the best airport experience that you had in Brazil? Also, what airport in your opinion is your worst experience in? With me, my worst experience in an airport has been in Sao Paulo, especially when it's time to come back to the US. If I'm flying out of Sao Paulo, usually it's kind of hectic. Now, my best experience is probably Rio, because I've flown out of there and I've flown into Rio many times, and I really never had a bad experience. Only in Sao Paulo, airport wise, have I experienced not so good of service. But drop yours down in the comment if you have any. I'm just killing time right now. I'm just walking around. You know when you get that message from Uber that says 5 minutes away, and you're like, wow, that's quick. And then you look back down on your phone, and now it says 20 minutes away. So that's my situation for the moment. So I'm just gonna walk around, get a little bit of exercise with my legs. Being on the plane for some time, just sit in one position, your legs get kind of stiff. So I'm just gonna walk around. I was thinking about getting something to eat, but as you may know, no matter where you go in the world, eating airport food is a little bit more expensive. Plus, why not just wait until I pick up my keys from the apartment and then go to the grocery store and get some things to eat? That would be the better decision, so that's what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, I want to show you this map right here, and it just basically shows you the separation from the capital to Vila Velha. And you can't see it from there, but it's a yellow marking, which is a bridge. So the bridge is the gap that's between, or bridge the gap between Vila Velha and the capital, Vitória. And at some point I'm going to show you that bridge, because I have to cross it in order to get to Vila Velha anyways. But for now, I'm inside the Uber, and what you're seeing now is the city of Vitória. So this is the capital of Espirito Santo. This ride isn't going to be super long. It always depends on traffic, of course. But to make a comparison, it's like going from, say if you live in the tri-state area, it's like going from Jersey City to New York City. It's not very far. It could be 30 minutes or less depending on the time of day and traffic. It's like going from Fort Lauderdale to Miami. It's not far. If you live in the DMV area, it's like going from Arlington or Alexandria, Virginia to Washington, D.C. You have that bridge. It's not far. And that's how it is when you're going to the capital here, to Vila Velha. And as I mentioned before, you have that bridge that gaps the two cities together. And I'm actually on that bridge that I was talking about right now. It's not a very long bridge. And this is going to take you into the city of Vila Velha, which, like I mentioned before, it is not a very big city. Since this is not my first time visiting Vila Velha, what do I think of this city overall? Well, my last experience back in 2017 was all good. I have all good memories of this city, and that's one of my main reasons of returning. Also, I want to see my friend. The last time I saw her was back in 2017, and maybe I'll put a clip of my last visit seeing her in this video somewhere, like right now. But something that I remember that was fun but dangerous was she took me to a Bali Funk club near my apartment. Well, she claimed it was near the apartment. So what was 5 blocks ended up being like 20 blocks because we got lost. And that's something you don't want to do while you in Brazil, is get lost at 11 o'clock at night. That's not safe. That's very dangerous. But we was able to find the club, and we got there safely. And I just remembering just having so much fun. We ended up leaving around, I think, 5 o'clock in the morning, but we did not walk back. We did take a taxi back. But if you don't know what Bali Funk is like, how could I explain? Bali Funk is like Brazil's version of hip hop. And where it started out at was Rio. There was a DJ there that was able to come to the US at the time, And this was like around 1980, like the mid 80s, maybe 1985. And the first city that he visited was Miami. And back around that time, you know, or you may not know, Luther Campbell, Two Live Crew, that was popular in the city of Miami. So what he did, the DJ, was bring that bass sound back to Rio, and that's basically how Brazilian Bali Funk started back in the 1980s. But now it's totally different, and I think, in my opinion, Sao Paulo has took over the sound of Brazil Bali Funk music. But if you haven't heard, I would suggest you Google it, or once you're in Brazil, go to a Bali Funk club, and guaranteed you will like it. We're almost there to my apartment. All we have to do is just cross this bridge and we'll be minutes away. Something I tried to do that I was unsuccessful at was getting the same exact apartment from my last trip, and that apartment is not available. But what I was able to do was I was able to get another apartment on that same exact street, since I do remember the street. And that's a good thing because the apartment is right across the street from the beach. So all you have to do is just walk like maybe a minute just crossing the street, and the beach is right in front of you. So that's a good thing. And like I said prior, if you're into exploring, come to Vila Velha because it's a city, a small city that most people don't travel to. And there's one big reason why I would suggest coming here, because if you explore like myself, you get to do two cities in one trip, and it's very accessible because they're not far apart from each other. Like I said, the bridge gaps the two cities together, so it bridges the gap. So you have the capital, Victoria, and you also have right here Vila Velha. So on your trip, you get to visit two cities on one trip. So you can't beat that. So that's one big reason I would suggest to either visit Victoria, the capital, or visit Vila Velha. Either or. You can't go wrong. Right there is one of the shopping malls in Vila Velha, Praia de Costa. And there's also Vila Velha shopping also. So there's plenty of places to shop here. And if you want to shop elsewhere, all you have to do, like I said, is cross that bridge and you'll be in the capital, Vitoria. And there's shopping centers there also. So you have the best of both worlds. It doesn't matter which city you decide to visit. If you do, I would suggest just visit both, since you're here and you might not come back. So you might as well just see which one you like, or see how similar or how different they are. So in conclusion, I'm going to repeat the one big reason to visit Vila Velha, and again, that reason is because Vila Velha is accessible. All you have to do is take a taxi or Uber, cross that bridge, you're in a whole different city. To be exact, you're in the capital of Espirito Santo. So during your trip, you can visit two cities in one, and what makes it so good is it's not that far. I remember when I went to a coastal city in the state of Rio called Arraial do Cabo, and it took me probably, I want to say, like 3 hours just to get to Baja to Arraial do Cabo. So that's far. Here is minutes. It's not far. As you saw, you just cross that bridge and you're in a whole different city. Now, if you so happen to decide I don't want to visit Vila Velha, I want to just visit the capital, I want to visit Vitoria, that's cool. Again, all you have to do is take an Uber or a taxi, cross that bridge, and you can come to Vila Velha. So that's my number one big reason to visit Vila Velha. Accessible. Shopping Vila Velha. Also, what I'm going to try to do is visit Vila Velha shopping, so you can see the inside of the shopping center. And I want to also go to the capital, Vitoria, and show you how the shopping mall looks there. To be honest, it's not that big of a difference. You know, it's just a shopping mall, stores, restaurants. There's no super difference between the two. But so you can get the visual of it, I'm going to try to make that happen. Right in front is the beach, and once we make this right onto this street is where my apartment is located. So what you're seeing now is my new living surroundings for a while. Now, say if I wanted to go to Vila Velha shopping, it is only 10 minutes away by Uber or taxi, and there's also another nearby mall that's not far. And towards the left of the screen, the opposite direction, there's an outside gym I'll be going to. There's also a Bob's. If you don't know what Bob's is a Brazilian fast food chain all over Brazil. It rivals McDonald's, so it sells burgers, fries, milkshakes, and things of that sort. And I have a question and a fun fact. My question is, do you know what city in Brazil had the first Bob's? I'll give you 5 seconds. That city was Rio, and the area in Rio was Copacabana. What you're seeing now is the beach. So again, this apartment is in prime location. I can walk mostly to all places except for that club that I mentioned earlier, which is all the way down the street. And again, anything that's a far distance, I would not suggest you walking by yourself or with anybody late at night in Brazil. Is just not a good idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right now. And if you made it this far and you have not subscribed yet, I would suggest you go ahead and subscribe, because I'm pretty sure if you never visited Brazil before, you never heard of Vila Velha, you never heard of Bonaire or Maceió or Belém, you never heard of these places. So to continue seeing places like this that are not popular or unknown, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and see my adventures and my experiences. And I'm out.